Hi guys, welcome to Pro YouTube channel, and today I'll be showing you how to make this beautiful short pant with a waistband. If you're interested and you want to see how it was made, please keep watching. And if today is your first time on this channel, please click on the subscribe button and also on the notification bell so you get notified whenever we post a new video. And also don't forget to drop a like and a comment. The first thing I'll go ahead to do is to draft on my pattern paper before cutting on my fabric. So first I'll go ahead to draw a straight horizontal line at the top of my paper like this. This line here is going to serve as the waistline. Next I'll go ahead to draw a vertical line at this point. I'll just be going in by 1 inch and I'll go ahead to draw the line like you see me doing in the video. The next I'm going to go ahead to do is to insert my vertical measurement, which is my waist to hip depth. So I'm going to go ahead to measure my waist to hip depth, which is 8 inch, then my waist to crotch depth, which is 10 inch. To get your crotch depth, you sit on your house tool and measure from your waist to the stool. Next, I'm going to go ahead to insert my waist to the length of the short I'll be making and mark, after which I'll go ahead to mark the same point on this other side. Then I'll go ahead to draw a straight horizontal line with my ruler like this. I'm going to go ahead to label this part as my hip depth line, while this one here is going to serve as the crotch line, and here is going to serve as the full length of the short pants that I am making. So the next thing I'm going to go ahead to do now is to insert quarter of my hip measurement on the waistline, the hip depth line, and also on the crotch line. So my hip divided by 4 is 9.75. I'm going to go ahead to mark the 9.75 on my crotch line, on my hip depth line, and also on my waistline. After marking the line, I'll go ahead to connect the point together with a straight line using my ruler like this. Next I'm going to go ahead to do now is to insert my waist circumference on the waistline, and I'm going to be taking my measurement from this point. I'll be taking my measurement this way. So I'm going to go ahead to mark my waist divided by 4 on the waistline. I'm going to go ahead to mark it. After marking it, I'll be marking 1 inch for the waist dart because the trouser is going to be having a waist dart. Then on the hip depth line, I'm going to go ahead to mark my hip divided by 4, which we already have here. Next, I'll connect the waist to the hip depth using the curved part of my ruler like this. The next I'm going to go ahead to do now is to draw the crotch of the pant I'm making, and in doing that, first you go ahead to measure what you have at this point. So what I have here is 9.75. Next I'm going to go ahead to divide it by 4, and in doing that I'll be folding my tape into 2 first. So I'm going to go ahead to fold the 9.75 into 2 using my tape this way. After folding into 2, I'll go ahead to fold it again like this. This is the easiest way to divide it by 4, and what I have here is 2.75. I'm going to go ahead to measure the 2.75 from this point to the other side this way. That is from where this line stopped. I'm measuring the 2.75. I'm extending the line by 2.75. Next, I'm going to go ahead to go out by 1 inch from this part this way. I'll go ahead to mark. After marking, I'll go ahead to draw the crotch of the pants and making with my hand like this. You can use a ruler to do this if you are not good at freehand. So this is what the crotch of the pants is going to look like. So next I'm going to go ahead to insert my tie line, and the tie line is 3 inch below the crotch line. So I'm going to go ahead to mark 3 inch with my tape rule this way, after which I'll go ahead to draw a straight horizontal line like this. So the next I'm going to go ahead to do now is to divide what I have on my crotch line by 2. So I'm going to go ahead to measure what I have at this point, and after measuring I got 12 divided by 2 is 6 inch. I'll go ahead to mark the 6 inch on the crotch line, on the waistline, and also on my full length line, after which I'll connect the points together using a straight line. I'm doing this to locate the midpoint of the pant I'm making so that I can easily place my thigh and my knee circumference measurement accurately. So after connecting it, I'm going to go ahead to insert my thigh measurement on the tie line. So I'll be dividing my tie by 2, which is 11.5. So and I'll go ahead to divide 11.5 by 2 again, after which I'll place it on this line like this. So the first I'll go ahead to do is to fold my tape rule into 2 like this to get the midpoint of the 11.5, after which I'll go ahead to place the measurements on the tie line this way. So I'll go ahead to mark it like you see me doing in the video. Sorry, my camera did not capture this other part of the video. I didn't notice it while making the video. The next I'm going to go ahead to do is to insert the measurement at this point. So what you'll be doing at this point is to measure the circumference of where your trouser will be stopping and divide it into 2. After dividing into 2, you go ahead to divide it into 2 again like we did for the tie line. Then you place the measurement on the full length line like you see me doing in the video. So after marking it, I'm going to go ahead to connect my crotch line to the full length line using the curved part of my ruler like you see me doing in the video. So I'm going to go ahead to do the same thing on this other side also. I'll connect the tie line to the full length line using my ruler like you see me doing in the video. So this is what we are going to be having after connecting. So next I'm going to go ahead to do now is to take out the waist dart on the waistline, and in doing that I'm going to go ahead to measure what I have on my waistline. So what I have here is 9. I'll be locating the midpoint of the 9, which is 4.5. After that I'm going to go ahead to draw my waist dart, but before then I'm going to go ahead to minus 1.5 for the waistband because the pant I'm making is going to have a waistband. So I'll measure 1.5 downward like you see me doing in the video, after which I'll draw a straight horizontal line with my ruler like this. So next I'm going to go ahead to take out my waist dart from this point. So I'm going to go ahead to locate the midpoint, after which I will mark a waist dart of 0.5 inch on both sides like this. Next I'm going to go ahead to draw my dart, and the length of the dart I'll be making is 3 inch because I've already taken out 1.5 inch for the waistband. So I'm going to go ahead to draw the dart leg with my ruler like you see me doing in the video. So this is what the dart is going to look like. The next I'm going to go ahead to do now is to mark a seam allowance of 0.5 inch all around like you see me doing in the video. But for the hem, I'm going to go ahead to mark 1.5 inch as my hemming allowance. So for the hemline, I'm going to go ahead to fold it over before taking out the side allowance, because if you take it straight, you're going to be having some shortage when it comes to folding in after sewing your fabric. So I'll go ahead to fold it over this way. After folding it over, I'll go ahead to trace out my line on the trouser on the pants this way. So my paper is transparent, so it's easier for me, but if yours is not transparent, you will need to use your tracing wheel to do this. So I'm going to go ahead to connect the line like this, and when I open it up, this is what we are going to be having. So with this method, when it comes to folding of the pants, it is going to align properly. So the next I'm going to go ahead to do now is to cut the pants. So after cutting, this is what we are going to be having. The next I'm going to go ahead to do now is to draft the back of the pants. So for the back, what I did was to place my front block on a fresh paper. The front and the back are basically the same. The difference between the front and the back is the crotch area and also the waistline for the back, which is a little bit higher than that of the front, so that when the trouser is being worn, it doesn't pull down. So that is the only difference between the front and the back. So the first thing I'm going to go ahead to do now is to extend my crotch line with my ruler like you see me doing in the video. After extending it, next I'm going to go ahead to extend the crotch by 2 inch or 2.5 inch, depending on how free you want it to be. But for me, I'm going to be adding 2 inch to the crotch like this. After marking the 2 inch, I'll be coming down by 0.5 inch below the line like you see me doing in the video. The next thing I'm going to go ahead to do now is to draw the crotch, and in doing that I'll be going out by 2 inch from this point like this, and I'll go ahead to mark it. After marking it, I'll be connecting this part to the 0.5 inch point at this point. But before doing that, I'm going to be working on the waist area. So for the waist area, I'm going to be dividing what I have at this point by 2. So you divide what you have between this part and the dart by 2 like this. After marking it, then you go ahead to go up by 2 inch or 2.5 depending on how the back side is. After going up by 2 inch, the next thing I'm going to go ahead to do now is to connect this point to the crotch area like this. So, and in doing that, what I'm going to go ahead to do is to fold my front block this way so that I'll be able to draw the line. So I'm going to go ahead to fold my front block this way because the back line I'm drawing is going to be stopping at this point. So I'm trying to locate the point like this. After locating the point, I'm going to go ahead to fold my front block paper this way. Then I'll go ahead to connect the line from the waist area down to the crotch. So just watch what I'm doing and follow the same process. So after connecting it, this is what we are going to be having. So this is what the back crotch is going to look like. The next thing I'm going to go ahead to do now is to insert my waist measurement for the back. And in doing that, the first thing I'm going to go ahead to do is to measure what I have on my waist area. So I'm going to go ahead to measure what I have, including the sewing allowance. So what I have here is 10 inch. I'm going to go ahead to measure the 10 inch from this point down to the waist area like this. But before then, I'm going to go ahead to extend the front waistline to the side with my ruler like this. Then I'm going to go ahead to insert the waist measurement from the back, making sure that it stops where the line I just drew stop. I'm going to go ahead to mark it like this, after which I'll connect the 2 points together with my ruler like you see me doing in the video. So this is what it is going to look like. So the next thing I'm going to go ahead to do is to add 1 inch to my tie line and also to my new line. So I'm going to go ahead to mark 1 inch all the way like this, but I'll not be adding to my waist area. This 1 inch is for ease and it's going to make the trouser to lap well on the side. So if you don't want it, you can go ahead to shape it out to make your trouser fitted, but you need to do this so that the side will lap well when the trouser is being worn. So I'm going to go ahead to mark it all the way around, after which I'll connect the point together with my ruler like this. So after connecting the point, I'm going to go ahead to remove the front block of the pant and making so you will see what the back looks like. So this is what the back of the trouser is going to look like. I'm just going to go ahead to redraw this hemline like you see me doing in the video. The next thing I'm going to go ahead to do now is to draw the back dart, and in doing that I'm going to go ahead to divide what I have on the back into 2 like I did for the front, after which I'll go ahead to take out the waist dart like you see me doing in the video. So the length of the back dart is going to be 4 inch because we extended the back by 2 inch. So the length of the dart is not going to be the same with that of the front. For the back it's going to be 4 inch, and I'm going to go ahead to still mark 0.5 inch on both sides like I did for the front. So this is what the dart is going to look like. The next I'm going to go ahead to do now is to cut it out. So here we have the front and the back block of the pant. The next I'm going to go ahead to do now is to cut my fabric using this pattern. So I'm going ahead to cut out my fabric using the pattern that was drafted. So for this tutorial, I'm going to be using this plain fabric for this tutorial. And here I have both the front and the back of the pants. The next I'm going to go ahead to do now is to notch the tie line and also the new line of the trouser I'm making. So when you place your pant together, make sure that the sides are aligning like this. So I'm going to go ahead to notch it so that when joining together, it is going to be easy. So after notching the trouser, I'm going to go ahead to start with the front block of the pant. So the first thing I'm going to go ahead to do now is to remove the pattern paper from the front block like you see me doing in the video. But before then, I'm going to go ahead to notch the dart area so that when sewing, I will know where to place my dart. So I'm going to go ahead to notch it. After notching it, I'll go ahead to remove the pattern paper from the front block. Here I have the front block of the trouser, and when cutting, you'll be cutting 2 pieces for the front and also 2 pieces for the back of the trouser. So the next thing I'm going to go ahead to do now is to join the crotch area together. So you're going to be placing your trouser, making sure that the good face are facing each other. Then I'll go over my sewing machine to close up the crotch area like this. After closing up the crotch area, I'll also go ahead to sew in my darts all the way down, and I'll also be doing the same thing for the back of the trouser. So first I'm going to go ahead to notch the dart area for the back like I did for the front. After doing that, I'll also go ahead to join the crotch area of the back together, after which I'll go ahead to sew in the dart. So I'll quickly go over my sewing machine to do that, after which I'll come back to show you what to do next. So I'm going ahead to sew in my dart and also to join the crotch area together, and this is what I have. I also went ahead to open up the seam and I ironed it. This is what it is going to look like after doing that. I also did the same thing for the back of the trouser. I went ahead to sew in my dart. After sewing the dart, I went ahead to join the crotch area together and I gave it a good press. So this is what you should have after doing that. The next I'm going to go ahead to do now is to join the front to the back this way. Then I'll flip it over. So next we're going to go ahead to join the back crotch and the front crotch together. So when you place the back and the front crotch together, make sure they align. As you can see, mine are aligning. If they are not aligning, it means that you didn't sew it correctly. So make sure that they align. After placing it this way, I'm going to go over my sewing machine to sew from this part down to the other part, and I'm going to be sewing using the 0.5 inch sewing allowance I added to the trouser while drafting. So I'm going to go ahead to quickly do that and come back to show you what to do next. I had to join the front and the back crotch together, and this is what it looked like. So this is what you should have after doing that. The next I'm going to go ahead to do now is to notch this area with my scissors like you see me doing in the video. So after notching it, I'm going to go ahead to join the sides together. So I'm going to be placing it this way. So it is important you notch so that the notch part meets when you are sewing together. So I'm going to go ahead to join it together like this, after which I'll go over my sewing machine to close up the sides using the 0.5 inch sewing allowance I added while drafting. So for this side, I'm going to go ahead to sew this side completely from the waist down to the hem of the trouser like this. But for the other side, I'm not going to be sewing the other side completely because I'll be adding my zipper to the side of the skirt. So I'm going to go ahead to measure at least 8 inch away from the waist, after which I will start sewing from the 8 inch mark. So I'm going to go over my sewing machine to quickly do that. After doing that, I'm going to come back to show you what to do next. So I went ahead to join the front to the back, and this is what we have. So, and I also went ahead to leave a space for the zipper at this part. So this is what you should have after doing that. The next I'm going to go ahead to do now is to confirm my measurements. So remember, while drafting, we added 1 inch to the back of the trouser. So if you want your trouser to be If you want your trouser not to be too fitted, you can leave it this way, but if you want it to be fitted, you can go ahead to shape it on the side. So you're going to go ahead to shape out 1/2 inch on both sides again if you want your trouser to be fitted. So I'm going to go ahead to do that, but if you want it to be free, you can leave it the way it is. So after shaping the trouser, the next thing I'm going to go ahead to do now is to insert the waistband to the trouser. So I've gone ahead to cut out the waistband for the trouser, and this is what the waistband is going to look like. So make sure that what you have on the waist is your actual measurement before inserting the waistband. And the height of the waistband I have here is 1.5 inch, and I'm cutting the waistband on fold. So what I cut out was 2 inch and I folded in 0.5 inch. So what I have left is 1.5 inch. So I folded in 0.5 inch at this point like this. So this is what the waistband is going to look like. So the next I'm going to go ahead to do now is to attach the waistband to the waist area of the trouser. And when attaching it, I'm going to be placing my waistband on the wrong face of the trouser this way. So when placing it, you're going to be placing it 0.5 inch. You're going to be leaving a space of 0.5 inch outward this way. Then you go ahead to join the waistband to the waist of the pants from like this. So I'm going to go over my sewing machine to attach this, after which I'll come back to show you what to do next. So I'm going ahead to attach the waistband to the waist, and this is what we have. This is what it should look like. The next thing I'm going to go ahead to do now is to fold the waistband this way. After folding it, I'm going to go ahead to stitch this part. Then after stitching, I'll go ahead to cut off the excess I have there. So I'm going to be folding it this way. Then I will stitch and cut off the excess. So I'm going ahead to do that on this other side. So I'm going to be explaining using this part. So after stitching it, you go ahead to notch this pointed part. Then you turn it over to the good face. So I'll be using my scissors to push this area out so that it will come out properly. So after flipping it over like this, this is what you should have. Next, you push in your sewing allowance, then you stitch towards the edge of the band. So I'm going to go over my sewing machine to stitch towards the edge of the band all the way around the waist. So I'm going to go ahead to quickly do that. After doing that, I'll come back to show you what it looks like. So I'm going ahead to attach the waistband to the pant, and this is what we have. As you can see, it's looking so neat and very beautiful. So when sewing your waistband, make sure you use a matching thread so that the seam does not show, and sew towards the edge of the waistband. This is what the inner part of the waistband is going to look like. So the next thing I'm going to go ahead to do now is to attach my zip to this side of the trouser. After attaching the zip to this part of the trouser, I'm going to go ahead to hem the lower part of the pant this way. So when hemming your pants, all you need to do is to fold in your hemming allowance, give it a good press, then you go ahead to secure it with your hemming gum, then you can go ahead to stitch it together. So I'm going to go ahead to quickly do that, after which I'll come back to show you the final look of the pants. So here we have the final look of the short pant, looking so beautiful and very fitted. You can go ahead to try yours. So if this video was helpful to you and you are yet to subscribe, please click on the subscribe button and also on the notification bell so you get notified whenever I post a new video. And also don't forget to drop a like and a comment. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in my next tutorial.